Oh, what's up guys, welcome back to another video, and this is a Jimmy High Roller reaction. The title is When a Rookie Shaq Bullied Prime Michael Jordan Almost Got Away With It. This video, I searched this myself, because I've been watching the Michael Jordan documentary, and I'm 3 episodes in now. I've got one more to watch, I'm going to watch that tonight. And I'm really enjoying it, and it's just got me into the mood to, like, I really want to learn more about Jordan, but I can't find any videos. And I just searched Michael Jordan and saw them. I just searched for the most viewed Michael Jordan videos on YouTube, and this was close to like being one of the top that I thought would be quite interesting. But again, I'm not sure if this is the best video or what, but I see this and it says almost got away with it. So I assume Michael Jordan just does, he does something crazy, because obviously Shaq's known for his physicality. And yeah, I'm just intrigued. This is a random video, but I hope you guys enjoy. And yeah, man, let's just see what this is about. Quickly, I'm gonna shout out my Daily Motion account. That I've got I've got old videos from the past that got blocked. And yeah, if you're interested in seeing it, it's in the link in the description. Again, there's some basketball. There's the NBA 2020 slam dunk contest that I'm going to post tomorrow. And yeah, just like Dwayne Wade one as well. And just, yeah, American football stuff. There's random stuff on there. So if you are interested, the link's in the description. But let's get into this and see how this, like, what this video is about, really.
Jordan and Shaquille O'Neal had one of the greatest duels of the decade.
Well, it was 3 seconds.
On January 16th, 1993, Michael Jordan and Shaquille O'Neal had one of the greatest duels of the decade.
Look at Shaq then. Oh, mad. Oh my god, he is such a brute, man. Look at his build then. Oh jeez. He is such a monster, bro. Oh! To be fair, he nearly stopped it, but he fouled him. Ah, mate, the way Jordan shoots is absolutely insane. I love it so much.
In a back-and-forth battle that went into overtime, Jordan dropped 64 points, and Shaq had a 30-20 game with 5 blocks.
Wow! Okay, so I see how it almost got away with it. Okay, that's an insane sort of battle between them.
A brand new franchise that finished with just 21 wins in the previous season defeated the reigning NBA champs.
Jesus.
This was only the second time Shaq faced off against Jordan, but in one of the quietest rivalries in NBA history, this saga was far from over. In fact, in this epic matchup, Shaq would do something that would come back to haunt him years later.
Oh, okay. Oh no. See, having someone like Shaq do that to you is gonna it's gonna feel 10 times like 10 times worse than like a normal person, isn't it? Like a truck just crashing into you, man.
I can't let him dunk on me. That's not gonna happen.
Oh.
There's one I'm not getting dunked on. That'll be a poster forever, because Mike was the man at the time. So when I go to help him up, he said, "Don't ever help nobody up. Great foul. Don't do that. I don't need your help. But I'm coming back. Don't you worry."
Oh, and I bet he dunked him in hard.
MJ gets hammered by Shaq. A tactic that was just as much psychological as it was physical. Ever since Shaquille O'Neal stepped onto a basketball court, his message was to prove he was bigger and stronger than everyone else. That no matter how hard you came at him, he would come back 10 times harder. But in his attempt to get inside Jordan's head, Shaq inadvertently sparked a fire inside.
Bro, you do that to Jordan, you're gonna live to regret it, bro.
Altering decision.
But again, I know I've not really talked about the documentary much, but I'm learning a lot from him, and like his sort of like how sort of determined Jordan is, and I'm finding it really intriguing. About like the teammates. Like episode 2 was focused on Scottie Pippen, episode 3 was focused on Dennis Rodman, and they're like sort of connection with each other, and it's just intriguing, man. I really want to learn more about Jordan, and I'm hoping. Well, the documentary comes every Sunday. I think 2 episodes every Sunday. I'm excited to see how it finishes off, because so far it's been insane.
In the early 90s, Shaquille O'Neal bullied his way into NBA superstar status like no other rookie had done before. In his first 10 games, Shaq was putting up stat lines that no 20-year-old rookie should be putting up. The basketball knew he would be good, but this good this early was unheard of.
Insane.
In 1996, Shaq made the 50 greatest players in NBA history list in just his third season at the age of 23. To put this into perspective, the youngest player in last year's All-Star game was 22. At the moment, these are the best 23-year-olds in the NBA. It would be an impossible stretch to say that any of these players would be considered a top 50 player of all time. In fact, only 2 of them have an All-Star appearance. And yet, at this point in his career,
that is
Shaq
nuts.
was on the same list as the best players to ever lace.
That is levels,
But
bro.
no matter how incredible Shaq was, as long as Jordan was in the league, he would be an afterthought in regards to the best player in the NBA. The conversation is always Kobe versus Michael. But while Kobe was trying to earn a spot on his high school's varsity team, Shaq was busy trying to dethrone a prime Michael Jordan. And after losing again and again and again, Shaquille O'Neal actually succeeded. After the 1992-93 season, Mike took his infamous break from basketball, leaving the door wide open for Shaq to take over the NBA. Just one season into the league, Shaq and the rest of the world were taken by surprise when a prime Michael Jordan retired from basketball.
Yeah.
And with
That's
Jordan
still
busy
crazy.
playing baseball, Shaq asserted himself as the most dominant player on the planet. Jordan leaving the game was the best thing that could ever have happened for a young Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, I can see that.
At this point, the Magic had established themselves as the best team in the East behind their young dynamic duo in Shaq and Penny. Each game getting one step closer to the seemingly inevitable fact that Shaquille O'Neal was going to be the face of the NBA for the foreseeable future.
And then he came
In the
back.
next 2 seasons, Shaq had turned a failing franchise into an NBA powerhouse.
Fair play.
From 21 wins to 57 wins in just 3 seasons,
What?
topping the East in 1995. Averaging 27, 13, and 3 while earning 2 All-NBA team selections, a Rookie of the Year award, and a scoring title.
That's insane.
At just 22 years old. This was
So young as well,
He
man.
had the team, he had the talent, and Mike had vacated his #1 spot. How could you possibly stop a 7-foot 1-inch, 300-pound freak of nature?
Bring him back.
Wanted to get away from the media. They had no more challenges. Less than 2 years, you're back.
Oh man, Jordan has
Just at the
got
moment
such
Shaq
an
thought he was
insane
safe from
energy about
Jordan's
him.
reign, Michael decided maybe basketball was a sport after all, and returned to the game in the spring of 1995. And that fast track to the NBA Finals just took a detour for Shaq and the Magic. But the last time Michael played Shaq, the Magic weren't even a playoff team. Now, just 2 seasons later, they were the best team in the East and had all the ingredients for a future dynasty. Meanwhile, the Bulls were recovering from their Jordanless year, and for the first time since the 80s, the Bulls didn't look like the obvious favorite. In the 1995 NBA playoffs, 2 years after their last matchup, Shaq would finally get his chance to officially snatch the torch from Jordan.
Okay.
And he did just that.
Big guy gets it there. O'Neal with the fadeaway.
This is a really, really insane rivalry then.
With a lead. Looks for the lob and Shaq.
And the battle of 2 absolute legends of the sport.
Can't do that. Well, the Bulls side for Shaq. O'Neal jump hook. These 2 for in against.
And it also goes to show how insane Shaq was as well. Because I mean, to even be competing with Jordan, it just shows how mental you are as a player. But like you said, I think he got the better of him in this season. That just goes to show, man.
Try to adjust in the air, and he will.
Or he got the better of him in this game. I'm not too sure. Man, he is insane. Oh, he got sent. He got sent. Look at that, mate.
Backs it in. O'Neal throws it in. Basket by Shaq. For Shaq, and that'll do it.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be nice. I just tapped it in, to be fair.
They're going to win this series over the Chicago Bulls. The Orlando Magic here come into the United Center in Chicago and defeat the Chicago Bulls.
For the first and only time in his prime, Michael Jordan and the Bulls were knocked out of the playoffs. The
Man.
once unbeatable team had fallen to a 22-year-old Shaquille O'Neal and company, and Shaq's master plan had finally become a reality.
He was 22 at the time.
Shocked the
That is...
basketball world and even Shaq himself.
I'm studying him because I want what he has. Studying how the refs treat him. I'm studying how he's talking to his teammates and they respond. I'm studying his relationship with him and Phil Jackson. I'm studying how the opponents look at him and fear him and all that. I definitely want that. He was the best in the game.
Man, Jordan, man.
Keep in mind,
Jordan sees these things and he just sort of he'll trait, like he'll study them, and he'll eventually get it. Like he'll eventually like make the same thing for himself. Like he'll get what Shaq had and get the same sort of like the things that he's studying. He'll learn, and then that will eventually like players will see him in that sort of dimension as well. That's what's insane about him. He's just an absolute freak of nature. An absolute, like, the greatest sportsman, man.
Season and a half removed from basketball and only 25 games into his return to the league. A 32-year-old MJ who hadn't quite gotten his touch back and was still adjusting to the hardwood, and he's putting up 31 and 7 a game on one of the best teams in the league. But none of that mattered to Shaq because in just his 3rd season, he became the only man to ever knock off Michael Jordan in his prime. The kid that wanted to be Jordan had beaten Jordan, and it would be nice and fitting if the story ended right here. A young Shaquille O'Neal drafted a once terrible team
Jordan
playoff
came back,
in the organization's existence, slaying the once unbeatable monster in Chicago. But if there's one thing we've learned about basketball in the 90s, Michael Jordan always
came back.
Gets the last laugh.
Come on, man.
Following their defeat to the Magic, Michael Jordan and the Bulls went on their 1996 revenge tour, absolutely bullying their way through the entire league, breaking multiple NBA records and winning the most games in a single season at the time. A reminder to the NBA that Michael Jordan and his squad were still the best basketball team on the planet. But behind this return to glory, an underlying motive for their success was driving Jordan to get back to that rare moment of failure in the previous season, to get revenge on the only man to beat him while he was on top. Following a regular season where the Bulls won 2 of 3 matchups against the Magic, once again, Jordan and Shaq were set to face off in the playoffs.
God damn.
In the conference finals to decide who would go on to fight for a championship. Shaq thought it was his time, but Mike had to remind the Diesel that his time was up.
Michael has seen his teammates rise to the occasion, playing with the fire and determination that is the Bulls 1 win away from a trip to the finals. But one giant roadblock still stands in the way.
This is an ultimate rivalry, man. Oh, man. Oh, he don't. Oh my god, these just gonna show the level, but he's still fighting back. To be fair, bro, it's just back and forth. Oh man, I love the difference between the type of baskets they score as well. It shows that the type of players they are, right? Like Jordans are always like sort of on the back foot, and he just sort of like he'll jump and then shoot. Shaq's is always just bullying people, using his strength for just stealing it off someone and just like dunking it. It's so cool to see the differences. Again, I love the way Jordan shoots so much. It's so insane how he does it. He just sort of floats.
After losing to the Magic in the season prior, the Bulls went on to
45
sweep them in
points.
the 1996 Eastern Conference Finals, including a 38-point blowout in Game 1 and holding the Magic to just 67 points in Game 3. In the 1995 playoffs, the Magic won by an average margin of just 1.25 points, winning the series in 6. In the 1996 playoffs, the Bulls won by an average margin of nearly 17 points.
Bro,
A beatdown of historic proportions. To put this series into perspective, the 2017 Warriors had one of the most dominating runs in NBA playoff history, going 16-1 on their path to a championship. In the finals, they nearly swept the Cavs, winning by an average margin of just 8.5 points. Jordan and the Bulls didn't just beat the Magic, they absolutely buried them in their own building. But despite getting swept, Shaq still held his own.
fair play.
That make you wonder how such a great player on a 60-win team could get walked like this. Oh, yeah. They were playing the best player to ever touch a basketball on the best team in league history. But Jordan's beatdown on Shaq doesn't end there.
Oh
See,
no.
from 1994
He took
to
us something
1996,
dark
Orlando
in
Magic were
in
quickly
Jordan, man.
becoming one of the best teams in the league, getting better every single season. They had a prime Shaq, a prime Penny Hardaway, a borderline all-star in Nick Anderson, and a 3-time champion in Horace Grant. The most lethal offense in the NBA, and they were fresh off of a finals appearance. They had all the tools to make a run at a championship for several seasons. But, of course, this never happened.
Makes it of them.
Despite finding success in Orlando, Shaq took his talents to LA and, of course,
Flourished.
the rest is history.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest what-ifs of 90s NBA is the Shaq and Penny duo. The idea of Shaquille O'Neal taking a new, underwhelming franchise to the promised land and rising up as the new face of the league. Now, there are several reasons as to why Shaq left the Magic, but one that is rarely addressed was his virtually unspoken rivalry with Michael Jordan. Was Shaq dodging Michael Jordan? Well, I wouldn't go that far. But the Diesel was, without a doubt, shaken up by MJ and the Bulls. His ego was hurt, and he knew that as long as he was in the East, and as long as Jordan was playing basketball, he would never be the guy. But in hindsight, Shaquille O'Neal's shortcomings at the hands of Michael Jordan were actually a blessing in disguise for his career.
For both players, I'd say.
Because after going toe-to-toe with MJ, every other player, every other team was, in Shaq's words, barbecue chicken.
Mike is the guy that taught me how to go to the next level. Walking off the court, Mike grabs me and said, before you succeed, you must first learn to fail. And that helped me out when I made the move to LA and kept failing, and came to the point where we got to win. Because that's how I became who I am today.
So,
Shaq is such a character,
Michael
man.
Jordan for dismantling this team and stripping us from the most lethal young duo of the 90s. We can also thank MJ for running Shaq out of Orlando and giving us this.
Imagine them playing together.
Some rivalries have been cemented in history books because of the impact they had on the game. Others were so subtle that they virtually went undetected. With MJ out of the picture, a young Shaquille O'Neal thought he had the league on lock.
And he
That
came
the
back.
throne was his for the taking. But Michael Jordan gave him a harsh reminder that the crown wasn't his quite yet. Hope you guys enjoyed. and
Another
as
banger,
always,
man.
Until next time.
I can see why this has like so many views, and I feel like they're probably really good friends now. Like the competitiveness of basketball, I feel like is there until you stop playing the sport, and then you just become like friends, and you sort of reminisce of the past, etc. This is another insane video, man, and it's really like cool, and I feel like it's important to learn these sorts of stories because again, like I assume like many basketball fans didn't really know about this sort of rivalry until this video was posted. Like obviously some would have known it, but still, man. Dang, that's weird to see a thin and shaped Shaq. Yeah, Shaq looked like he looked a lot like slimmer. But again, at the end of the day, that was his style of play. Like he was a bigger person, so he used it to his advantage. Shaq definitely had his absolutely insane styles, man. The NBA should just be happy Shaq and Jordan. If they played together, mate. If they played together, man, they don't realise Shaq gained over 800 pounds in the course of his career. Wow. I miss his physicality. Every point is hard earned. Yeah, man. I remember in the documentary, I remember the clip of them playing the Detroit Pistons, and Shaq was just getting thrown about, and like the whole Detroit. Oh, I can't speak. The Detroit Pistons sort of like whole idea was to basically just fight you on court or just properly just rough you up, and yeah, that was intriguing to see, and I see what he means with that because that was sort of in that clip. And yeah, sport does change. It's interesting to see how it changes, but it does like all sport, like it changes and evolves, doesn't it? Jordan didn't work like most players, where you can throw them off their game by pissing them off. You piss Jordan off, he goes Super Saiyan. Literally. I don't watch basketball. YouTube algorithm too bad, bro. You're gonna learn today. But that's a good thing. But I wish YouTube started throwing these things in my algorithm, like back in the past. I never had like YouTube like basketball videos really ever on my YouTube feed, which sucks. But now I can see these, and I appreciate it, man. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. And yeah, until next time, like, subscribe,